All right, welcome. It is time to analyze that investment property. Let's say you found the perfect one, or you think you might have a good deal in your hands. You've already checked the 1% rule. Let's say the property costs $250,000 and you can get $2,500 per month of rent from it, or a little more, a little less, somewhere in that range. It's probably going to make a good deal. So we want to dive a little deeper here. So you're going to go ahead and Google biggerpockets.com. Screen, it's going to look something like this. It's going to come up right here. You're going to go to Tools. Top left, you're going to go to Rental Property Calculator. We're going to come into here. You get 4 free reports starting out when you make a site with Bigger Pockets. I think the membership costs like $30 if you want to get like unlimited uses of this. I highly recommend getting that membership if you're buying your first or second property, whatever, because you're going to want to do this a bunch of times. So we're going to go ahead and start new report. All right. You're going to go ahead and we're just going to do a 1, 2, 3 Main Street. All right. Let's Main Street, whatever. Punch something in here. Doesn't really matter what comes up. I'm not worried about it. We're going to put Williamsport in there. All right, our purchase price. We're going to go with that $250,000 we were just talking about. And what we're doing here is we're trying to see if we have a solid investment on our hands. We're going to run through every number right here. Closing costs are going to be 3%. Where's my phone? So let's check that. So at 3% of 250,000, we multiply 250,000 by 0.03. That's going to give 7,500. All right. So then we're going to keep going. We're not going to be rehabbing this property. Let's just say it's turnkey. Purchase, closing costs. Yep. All right. Just make sure I'm filling out everything here. We're going to put down, let's say, 20% on this because it's going to be an investment property, and you have to run your own numbers. Okay. If this is going to be a primary residence and your house hacking, I'll show you that actually. Let's say you're going to do a primary residence, and we're going to put down 3.5% on FHA loan. All right, so it's going to be $8,750. Our interest rate is going to be about 6.5%. That's what the rates are right now, between 6 and 6.5, somewhere in there. Points are just extra. You can buy down your rate. For every point you buy, you get a % down. So you can do that with your lender. If you're going to keep the property for a long time, I wouldn't recommend it because rates are probably going down soon. Loan term, 30 years. All right, let's keep going. Let's say we're making $2,500 on this property. It meets the 1% rule. Go to expenses, property taxes. If you're in the state of Maryland, it's probably going to be about $2,500, depending on where you're at. It's going to be annual. Your insurance is going to be about $1,000, somewhere in that range. And once again, I'm doing this quick, but go get your numbers. Make sure you have the accurate numbers here. Repairs and maintenance, you're probably going to be about 10% realistically, depending on how old the property is. Vacancy, you have to check your area to see how long rentals are staying on the market. Let's say if you price it correctly, you're going to go quick, so you're probably about 1%. Capital expenditures, which means roof, foundation, windows, any of those big items, that's going to be around 5% more than likely. If you could take a whole day and analyze this property, figure out how old the roof is, when's it going to need to be repaired, divide that by the amount of months you have until that repair is going to take place, and you know exactly how much you need to set aside each month. All those different huge items, those capital expenditures, you can easily figure out that exact number. I'm just going to go real quick and say 5%. It's typically going to be right around there. Management fees. Some of you are going to manage your own property, so you're not going to need to put this 10% in. I would tell you to put the 10% in, even if you're going to manage your own property. That way, if you need to move for work or go somewhere else, whatever it might be, then you can always get a management company for it. Okay, electricity, 0. We're going to make tenant pay for that. Gas, 0. Tenant's going to pay 0. There's no HOA, 0. Garbage, tenant's paying 0. No other expenses. Finalize, analyze. All right, so this property, we only have a $34 cash flow. We want to get at least $200 to $400 per door, okay? So this is not looking good. It is positive, but it's not looking good, okay? Our cash on cash return is not good. 2.5%, that's not great. All right, this is going to run you through all the numbers here. We're going to play with these numbers in a second. It's going to give you a breakdown of all your expenses, your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, your variable expenses, all your vacancy, how much that's going to cost you, management, capital expenditures, management fees. Then we're going to go down here. This is your returns. You can look at what it's going to do over time. This is really, really helpful, so you can kind of get a 30-year picture of this deal, where how is going to fluctuate, how it's going to move, where's it going to be at in 10 years. Your equity went from $9,000, that 3.5% you put down, up to $100,000 in the first 10 years. Absolutely incredible. And that's with appreciation, debt pay down, tax benefits, everything. Let's see if we put down, where's our down payment? I want to play with these numbers. Let's edit it. We're just going to go back and edit. And let's say we're going to put 20% down, which is $50,000. Let's rerun this and see what happens. Now we're at $294. So this is a really good investment at that point, even at a 6.5% interest rate. Now let me show you one more thing. Let's say rates drop in the next 18 to 24 months. Okay, let's say rates go down. We're going to move rates down to just 5%. It goes down 1.5. Okay, let's update this. $485. Looking pretty good at this point. Okay, let's do, it won't let me edit it anymore. Oh, I used up all my credits on here. I just made a new account recently. Anyways, this is the breakdown. Super, super helpful. Oh, we can edit the interest rate here. Let's say it goes down to 4%, $600. Okay, so play with these. If you raise your rent, let's see if we move rent up to $3,000. Let's say we can increase that. Now we're making $974. I've had rental properties that the mortgage was $460 a month, and I was making, the rent was $1,400. Okay, so don't listen to people that tell you there aren't good deals out there. You can't find them. It's just nonsense. There are good deals. You have to search for them. Find a good realtor that can help you identify them. Get someone that's going to teach you this. Learn how to do this, because these are the numbers that you really need to be breaking down, understanding what these numbers mean, understanding what your projection is. And here, look at this. Our equity went from, so we bumped up to $50,000 in the beginning. You're at $147,000 in year 10. Now, see, actually putting that money down didn't really change that much. It did not really change it, which is fascinating, but that's kind of how, that's why everybody says use leverage as much as possible. But anywho, I hope this is helpful. If you got any questions, reach out. Happy to help. This is how you do it, guys. I bought a property in 3 hours one time because I ran it through this calculator. I knew it was going to be a good deal. I owned that property for about 2 years, eventually sold it, made some good money on it, made money on it while I had it. It's a great property. So this stuff works. It's just numbers. I never sold that property, never went to that property while I owned it, sold it without ever seeing it, and still made money on it. So know your numbers. Get in here, use this, super helpful. I'll put the link in here below. Happy hunting for investment properties. Call me if you need anything.